Good morning. So today we're working on Uno's fifth ride, and of course as we saddled the wind came up and started blowing like crazy. He's a little fresh today. I just started out. We're gonna try this with a little different technique today. Just me working a foot and trying to get a little bit more action and motion out of him, a little more fluid movement. He's really comfortable ponying and stuff. As you can see, he's pretty fresh this morning, and he is definitely wanting to move around a little bit, and that's fine. I'll let him kind of work off a little of this energy. The wind is blowing pretty hard, and you'll see that. Hopefully he won't get dizzy from this, get seasick from the camera wobbling. I've got it up on a little pole there, and it's whipping around a little bit on the Pivo. But he was, a little bit fresh, let's put it that way. Not bronky or anything, just really active. But he's cruising around nice, and that's kind of what I wanted. And we just keep trying to add a little bit more movement. Try to get that movement really smooth and get him really comfortable with fluid movement. And thought that this might be a better way to do this. He moves off me pretty well. He is a little bit stuck on me. I will say that. He really likes to be with me. And, it doesn't matter how much he goes. He wants to hang out with me. And I want him to be a little more comfortable being away from me, or, he's been ponied off another horse, and I've been doing that off of another horse, and I'd like to get him in here where, okay, he has to deal a little bit more with just the rider more, and so a little less support from that other horse. We'll see how he takes it. It's one of those things where you just try to keep moving them towards just being ridden by themselves and not having to depend on somebody on the ground or somebody horseback to support them. Just kind of playing with him a little bit, moving him laterally, getting him to all I'm trying to do at this point is get him to take off smoothly, go around smoothly, and not start with a big dramatic start. Just kind of go easily, move around, be steady. You can see he's like, okay, let's just face up. Let's get to that comfortable place. And you don't want to dissuade that too much, because you want them to have that spot to go to if they get too scared. And you also I want to be able to shut him down. And one of my ideas on this is to get to me to be like the inside rein, and then the rider, which is Grace, to be the outside rein. and to keep him in between two things. As you can see, so he's still pretty fresh in there. I set him pretty good that time just to make sure that I could shut him down in case he got a little wild. So I put a little pressure there on the lead rope and said whoa, and just to let him know. And he came around pretty good. We're doing a little bit less of this prep work every day. I don't want a horse to get so dependent on that to being ridden. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is like older horses, horses that are started and stuff. If they need to be gypped every day to ride them, I don't believe in that. Right now, we're still just building confidence, so I'm going ahead and doing it. Groundwork is not my favorite thing. I just don't. I think a lot of it just sends horses too much or desensitizes them too much. You know, there's that thing where they're either kind of running scared or they're just so desensitized it takes so much to get them to move. And finding that balance in there is it's kind of a fine art. I see some people that are really good at it, really good at groundwork. I've just never done that much of it because I could always do better on their back. But as you get older, you find this is better. And if you're, kind of responsible for the safety of another rider, I find this just a little better. It's just a little safer, a little more consistent. We can take the time to get that horse feeling good about it so we don't have those bad, dramatic moments that can linger with the horse. And that's one of the things that, I just keep growing as a trainer and a rider. I don't want to stay stagnant. I watch things that people are doing and think, I can use that. And there's some things I can use and some things I can't. I don't want them unsensitive. And sometimes not desensitizing them enough can make a pretty reactive horse. And trying to find that balance where they have enough to where you don't have to use a lot of force to get them to move or whatever it is. But yet make them, not so jumpy and reactive that, they can be ridden and they learn to calmly do things, yet retain their sensitivity without too much input from the rider, so you don't have to just, whack them around to get them to go. And I think that's a really kind of a funny balance, if you don't do enough, they're a little jumpy. If you do too much, then they don't react to anything. And except for a lot more input than you really want to put on them. So Grace cinched him up a little more, just moving him around a little bit and see if he has a reaction to that. He doesn't. He's never been too cinchy or anything, but he gets a little, you want to make sure that he's not going to be tight. I see people cinch and step right on sometimes, and I always got to untrack them a step or two. I was just raised that way. But we had a lot of bucking horses when I was younger. So you can see, spent like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes just kind of moving him around, getting him prepared. Grace is spending a little bit of time checking her stuff out. Making sure he's going to be okay. And this is new to him. He's had that support from that other horse. Wanted to kind of change it up so he's not so dependent on it. And it was difficult to get him to move. You know, I could lead him around, but it was difficult to get real movement out of him, ponying him. Mostly because to get good movement out of him, he trots faster than my pony horse. So it was hard to really get him freed up because he was always worrying about what the other horse was doing. So we're going to try this and see how it goes. Getting him untracked. It was kind of a really calm, beautiful morning, and then until we saddled him up, and then that wind just started coming. We're supposed to get some storms later in the week, some rain possibly, hopefully. You can see I just want to start him pretty easy when I can. He really just wants to come back to me. But little by little, we hope to get him a little more untracked, a little more confident. I'm coaching Grace. I'm saying, look, you've got to be the outside rein to keep him from coming in all the time instead of just folding into me. And so I can keep him from ducking off and going the different direction, and she can just keep him from just falling in all the time. She's not quite doing that yet, so we're having a little talk about that. And this is just kind of a gradual process, and we're taking that within mind, you know, that look, we haven't done it like this that much, so Grace hasn't, and anyway, and usually we'll pony them a couple days and then ride them, you know, when we know that they're not going to be too crazy. But we're kind of working this through a little bit more and see if we can just support the horse a little bit better in the beginning. So it's a bit of a learning curve too, really. I mean, I've done a lot of groundwork with horses in the past. I've done a lot of things with them. But this starting technique is a little bit different. I've always worked my horses off other horses, so they're pretty used to that. But spending a little more time getting this going, I was hoping it would be a little easier for the horse, a little easier for the rider. And I got these ideas kind of off of watching how they start the horses in the Spanish riding school. And they start them out between two people and just get them used to being on their backs. And there's a person on each side. And I thought, that's not a bad way for a horse to start to understand that. Um, there's only two of us, so we have to have Grace be the outside rein. She can keep him from just coming back into me, which he's struggling with a little bit. He's figuring it out. We're not, and so I'm not getting after him too much when he does that. I'm just trying to say, no, let's continue back. He'll kind of figure it out one side and then the other. Every day gets a little bit better about stuff, so I'm just trying not to cram too much down his throat at once. I want, I want her to start, Grace to start participating a little bit more in this. And once she figures out, look, she can keep him from turning in, and I can keep him from turning out, we can start to give him the idea to be between two things. And that's really all I want from my horse, is to stay in between two things, right? Between the reins, between my legs, between my eyes. Those are the things, that make a broke horse or a trained horse. If he gets a little bothered, I kind of let him come in. We'll, get his equilibrium. If he gets a little confused, let him come back in. But then I'm going to say, okay, now I'll send you again. So it's in increments. It's in bites that he can digest. And that's what I'm trying to keep it in. We're not, I could put her on there and flag him around, and it would be pretty wild, and he would go and he would keep going forward. But and he would figure that out too. But I kind of want it to be a little more gentle, calm process if I can. Sometimes you have to spark it up a little bit as you go, but we're going to try this and see if we can keep it going a little longer. The other thing is that he's learning to steer a little bit, okay? So by her keeping him out, that was funny. She reached down there a little far. You saw her. He's pretty sensitive. I mean, if it really got Western with this horse, it would get really Western, I guarantee you. And that's why we're going this route. Because he is big, strong, and really athletic. And so if we can keep it calmed down and keep it, progressing in this manner, little by little, develop the understanding, make him kind of enjoy it. But he is really stuck on me. And so that's going to take a little bit to get through, but we'll get there little by little. We got some movement, tried some new stuff, and that's enough for today. It gives him enough to kind of soak on, and we'll go from there. Anyway, hope these ideas and stuff can help you along your journey, or maybe you just enjoy watching it. And thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.